Welcome to Ramblings with Joe. I believe it's episode 151. So last night, as we were closing out the weekend, I read an article, and it was about there's about 700 people that are heading off to Russia. And they are calling for asylum. So they're not coming from Russia to America, they're going from America to Russia and asking Russia for asylum. This is ridiculous. I'm reading about this on the Independence Day weekend. I can't understand it. It is beyond my grasp of reality. So they're calling it the what is it called? Escaping wokeism or returning to family values. And they believe they're going to find that in Russia. So I had to ask myself, why? The woke visa, that's what they're calling it. Spent a lot of time outside. You keep seeing me reach down here, scratching my leg. I got a few bites while we were out doing fireworks. It was a great weekend. It was great Independence Day. We always do a small firework show for just the family, and we had friends over, and we had family over, and it was one of the better Independence Day that I can think of. Anyway, that's why this didn't sit right with me at all. So these 700 families that have gone off to Russia, one of the things that Russia insists that the families have is financial stability. In other words, bring your money. Don't expect to be supported by the Russian system. That seems a little bit weird. If your system is perfect and you're seeking a better system, why would you need any resources? Anyway, another thing that they're calling this woke visa. It's actually the official name, something like family values visa, and Putin is using this as a huge media blitz for the Russian propaganda, and we're losing people. I mean, this is such a minuscule amount of people from America that it's not worth. I didn't think it was worth the big news media's mentioning of it, especially not on the Independence Day weekend, where, in the past that was usually something that they were trying to instill patriotism in the remembrance of freedom. But this is to blame on the left and the right. Again, this is to blame from the left. We've got the woke side of things, pushing the LGBT, and they're insisting that the lifestyles be accepted, no matter what your religious belief, your political belief, your moral compass. They're insisting that you must accept this. And from the right, they're insisting that their values be accepted as well, which is, for the most part, anti-LGBT. I lean a little bit toward the right, not far enough to the right that I would say you can't be LGBT. I'm not going to throw the rest of the alphabet soup in there. But I think you should have the freedom to say that you don't want to participate in the LGBT movement. I think it's okay to not agree with that value system. I think it's okay to not agree with the value system of the right, of the religious right, of the fanatical right. I think that's okay as well. I don't think it's okay for either side to force their opinion down your throat. That's not freedom. That's something different than freedom, as a matter of fact. That's kind of the opposite of freedom. This is good coffee. This is Rwanda from Ubora. So my real question after reading the article is why? Why are these people leaving? And the answer is they don't want to be a part of this system anymore. Now, whether they're right or wrong, there is culpability within the left and the right as to why they're leaving. So, in an oppressive government, you're definitely not going to find freedom in an oppressive government. All politics aside, communism has never worked. You can't point to one instance where it has in the past, and it's been tried so many times that you just can't point to a successful communist regime. At any rate, I thought that was noteworthy on a small level, and I am probably the smallest level that it should be noteworthy on. And it definitely wasn't noteworthy on the weekend of the independence celebration. That was just kind of a sad way for me to wrap up the weekend. So, instead of ending there, I did a little search on the American Party. The America Party, I believe is what it's called. And this is intriguing to me. I think I've mentioned in the past that I did not renew my membership within the Libertarian Party. I am still a libertarian by the definition of the word. I don't think you have to be a member of a party to call yourself either conservative or libertarian. I believe in liberty and freedom, and I'm very curious as to what the planks and platform of the America Party are going to be. When Musk announced that he was starting this party, immediately the mainstream media said it is unclear if Musk has registered and done the proper paperwork to make this party official. In other words, you really need to get approval of the other two parties before you can call yourself a political party. Man, you get stuffed. You know what? I just started the Good Morning Coffee Party. It's not registered. Papers haven't been filed yet. Okay, well, let's say that Musk does not register the party. Let's say that Musk just starts a party, just has his own little party, and he is running this thing, and instead of trying to reach the level where he can have all of his, all of his candidates placed on the ballot, what if he starts a party and he says, and it's a write-in ballot? Everybody write this name in. He hasn't established the party through the proper channels. I wonder if he has his traveling papers. What the hell? The mainstream media is so set on being pro-war and pro-spend money until we're absolutely broke that the first thing they do when they see somebody announce that they're having a new party, someone that's got enough money to actually make it happen, that they decide, oh, well, he hasn't registered the party yet, so we don't really we don't really think that that's a true thing. And man, what kind of country are we living in where people are leaving to go to Russia and that you are claiming that it's not a real party because he hasn't filed the proper paperwork? Yeah, you know what else? Maybe we should have an official government division that provides press credentials, and have an official press corps, a governmental press corps, and maybe you're not going to end up as part of it. Man, the media is they are so combatively disrupted and corrupt. They can't even see it from the inside for the most part. I'm very fond of saying that I don't know if they're doing things on purpose. Do I know if the media is doing this on purpose? Man, I can't believe they're not at this point. They don't have the proper papers filed. Get stuffed. This is America. You don't have to file papers to start a party. All you have to do is say, I've got a party. And he said it. He's going to start the party. Let's get this party started. I'm curious. I want to see this platform. I want to know the planks. I want to know what his party's going to push for. The Second Amendment being the foremost on the front of my mind. The First Amendment, obviously. What about the Fourth Amendment? How about can we travel and maintain our own effects under your party? This is, maybe there's a new home for a lot of people in America. Maybe the idea that we're so tired of watching our economy be stripped of its funds. The Boston Tea Party happened because of a 3% tax on tea. On tea. And we are working nearly half, and maybe over half the year now. We're working almost half of our working life to fund the government. And what do we do with the money? We send it to the federal government, and the federal government disperses it out to the states. In other words, the federal government is a third party who's just collecting money for themselves. I'm a little bit hot about this. Of course, we did just celebrate Independence Day, so there is that. I cannot believe that the press said he hasn't filed any papers yet and he's not responded to that. That's ridiculous. Oh, go to hell. What a bunch of jerks. They will not support any movement that does not support their ability to maintain their status quo. I'm talking about the press, the mainstream media. I'm talking about the left and the right, the Democrats and Republicans. And after this last election, maybe the Libertarians. Wow, did they fall right into the politics as usual? I couldn't even vote Libertarian this time because the candidate was so god awful. So maybe there is an option there. And why is Musk upset? The big beautiful bill that was just passed over the next 10 years is going to add $3 trillion more to the debt. And when Trump said he was upset because he was cutting his subsidies, Musk said, no, cut them all. Cut everything. You're destroying America. You're not seeing that, broadcast by the press either. I'm a bit frustrated with this big, beautiful, bountiful bill of spending. That's what it is. Okay, so we're cutting programs that the right doesn't like, but we're increasing quite a few programs. The idea was to lower the deficit, not increase it. Let's end this on a good note. So, On July 4th, we celebrated Independence Day. Hey, buddy. And, oh my goodness, you're gonna knock over my rig. And I had a fantastic time. Had friends over that mean a lot to me. They met new people. Had family down that mean a lot to me. Celebrated birthdays. It was an incredible day. And then we went back to my brother's house on Saturday and spent the day at his pool and just relaxed. It was an incredible weekend. The fireworks were fantastic this year. We had such a good time. And I'd like to remind everybody that even when politics is involved, everybody at this get together definitely had different points of view on politics. Even when politics is involved, you can still get along. You can still enjoy each other's company. Not everything has to center around politics. You can just center around a celebration. You can just center around the meaning of the celebration. And that's what we did. And it was a fantastic day. And we celebrated the freedom that our forefathers wanted for us. We celebrated the freedoms that we have left. And we celebrated our love for each other. And that was absolutely awesome. And I hope that you too celebrated these things and enjoyed the weekend. I had kind of needed battery recharge, and I got that done. Drank a lot of coffee, ate way too much, fell off my diet. Fell off my diet's probably not the right way to word that. I took a running start and jumped off the cliff of my diet wholeheartedly and with as much force as I could muster. That's probably a better way to put it. I'm going to struggle today. I have rebound effects whenever I eat a lot of carbs, and I want to eat more carbs, and I have to get back onto. I'm not sure if I'm going to. This is obviously my first day back at work. It's Monday, and it's very difficult to go through the whole day for me without having something. But I may do a fast day. I'm thinking about that hard. I mean, minus the Ubora. Got to have my coffee. I can't get going without my coffee. At any rate, it was a fantastic weekend. This is what I work for. This is why I do the job I do. This is why. Not that I don't like the people at work. I really do. But the people I care about the most. That's why we should all be doing what we should do. God, family, country. That order. That's where our hearts and our minds should be during these holiday weekends. It's going to be a good week. I feel it. I cut my yard. Looks good out there. I don't have to worry about that. Going to have thunderstorms. That's pretty normal for this time of year in Georgia. It's gonna be a good week. I feel it in my bones. I hope you all have a good week. I hope that you have a fantastic Monday. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to have as good a Monday as I possibly can. And I'm going to drink the rest of this coffee, make my lunch, and head off to work on this early Monday morning. I hope you find peace, love, and dream. Until next time, L'chaim.